My project is based on jellyfish, primarily the jellyfish that were spotted in the canals of Venice around the time the quarantine began, and they started appearing in places that they normally don't because of the lack of human interference. And so I just thought it was sort of a silver lining of the situation we're in now, and I've always been intrigued by jellyfish anatomy and just how they're structured. So first I looked at the anatomy of the particular kind of jellyfish that were spotted in the canals, and my design actually ended up focusing on the tentacles, or the lappets they're called, and then the arms. So I wanted to use all the plastic that we had that we were going to recycle at our house, and these are just from like salad containers and vegetable containers. And I considered using plastic bags, but they actually didn't work out in the beginning. So I just went through some testing and twisting and sort of trying to melt it, and it worked a little bit, but they just didn't look right. So what I ended up primarily using were the plastic containers, like I mentioned, and I cut the edges into little, almost like feathered edges. And then I used the heat gun, or you could use a hair dryer on really high heat. I think it would have the same effect. And I melted the edges, and what happened is they kind of curled and morphed, and this was kind of hard to do because I didn't have like gloves that wouldn't melt or get hot, so I had to constantly move my hands around. And so, but the cool thing is that once the plastic gets melted, you can kind of shape it. I cut a template from a tank top, and I used the larger pieces for the shoulder straps, and during this time I had to reheat them and bend them so they would curve. And yeah, so these are the two largest pieces, and then all the other plastic pieces I laid out in order of size, so I could start building this top, this like cage top, with the pieces in a symmetrical way, so it was balanced. To put the plastic together, there was a lot of trial and error. First I tried hot glue, which was not strong enough. I tried a different type of really strong adhesive, and then I tried to sew it actually with a needle and fishing line, and the plastic was just too thick, so I ended up using super glue, which is probably not the most economical way, but it did work really well for this type of plastic. I really loved how the plastic turned out. Again, this was to sort of emulate the arms of the jellyfish, and the plastic turned out really nicely. It almost looks like glass. You can see it from top to bottom here. So it has shoulder straps, and then it comes down in the front, and then I used plastic bags actually for the back, sort of to represent the tentacles in a way. I don't know how I feel about that, but for the time being, it's okay. I might add more to it. So this is a lot of fun to make. I think I learned a lot about using materials and making them look different from how they are in their original form. So I might experiment more with this plastic during my projects during this time.